I always believed I knew my daughter better than anyone, but what she said that evening made my heart stop. And the worst part? I didn't understand what she meant until it was too late. It started like any normal day. I picked Lily up from school just like I always did. She ran to the car with her little backpack bouncing behind her, her face bright and happy. "Mom, guess what?" she said, climbing into the back seat. I smiled. "What is it, sweetheart?" "I drew something today. It's for you." I looked at her in the mirror. She seemed excited, nothing unusual. "I can't wait to see it," I said. I didn't know that drawing would be the first sign. When we got home, everything felt normal. I made dinner, she played in the living room, and the TV hummed softly in the background. My husband, Daniel, texted me saying he'd be late again. That wasn't new either. Lately, he had been working more. Or at least, that's what he said. I remember staring at that message for a little longer than usual. "Meeting ran late. Don't wait up." Something about it felt off, but I ignored it. I wish I hadn't. Later that night, Lily came into the kitchen holding a piece of paper. "Mom, look," she said proudly. I dried my hands and took it. It was a drawing of a house. Our house, I assumed. There were 3 stick figures standing outside. One was clearly me, one was Lily, and the third... I frowned slightly. "That's Daddy," Lily said. I nodded. "It's beautiful, baby." But then she pointed to the corner. There was a 4th figure, smaller than me, taller than Lily, standing next to Daniel. "Who's that?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Lily shrugged. "That's the lady who comes over." I froze. For a second, I thought I heard her wrong. "The... what?" I asked quietly. "The lady," she repeated. "She comes when you're not home." My chest tightened. I forced a small laugh. "Sweetheart, what lady?" Lily looked confused, like I was the one being strange. "The one Daddy talks to." Something inside me shifted. I felt it. A quiet, cold feeling spreading through my chest. "What does she look like?" I asked. Lily thought for a moment. "She has long hair, and she laughs a lot." I swallowed hard. "And when does she come over?" Lily shrugged again. "Sometimes after school, sometimes at night." My hands started shaking. No, I couldn't be right. "Daniel worked late. He always said he was at the office, right?" I crouched down to her level. "Lily, are you sure?" She nodded. "Yes. Daddy says it's a secret." And that was the moment everything changed. I felt like the ground disappeared under my feet. A secret. Why would my husband tell our daughter to keep a secret from me? I tried to stay calm. I had to. "Okay," I said gently. "Thank you for telling me." Lily smiled, like she had done something good. And that broke my heart even more. That night, I couldn't sleep. Daniel came home late, just like he said he would. He kissed me on the cheek and asked how my day was. I looked at him differently. I searched his face for something, anything, but he looked normal. Too normal. "Everything okay?" he asked. I hesitated. I almost told him right then. But something stopped me. Instead, I just nodded. "Yeah, just tired." He smiled and went to take a shower. I sat there in silence. My mind replayed Lily's words again and again. "The lady who comes over?" I thought it was a misunderstanding. I wanted it to be. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right, and I had a feeling that this was only the beginning. Because the next morning, I found something that made everything worse. I didn't plan to go through his things. I never thought I would become that kind of person. But after what Lily said, I couldn't ignore it anymore. The next morning, Daniel left early for work. At least that's what he told me. "Big day today," he said while grabbing his keys. Might be late again. I forced a smile, even though my chest felt tight. Of course, I said quietly. He kissed me goodbye like nothing was wrong, like our life was still perfect. But the moment the door closed behind him, everything changed. The house felt different, too quiet, too still. Lily was still asleep, and I stood in the kitchen, staring at the wall like I was waiting for it to tell me the truth. I told myself to stop, to trust him, to forget what Lily said, but then her voice echoed again in my head. Daddy says it's a secret. My stomach twisted. No, I couldn't ignore that. Not anymore. Before I could change my mind, I walked into our bedroom. Daniel's laptop was sitting on the desk, closed, silent, almost like it was hiding something. I stood there for a few seconds just looking at it. This felt wrong, but so did everything else. Slowly, I opened it, no password. That surprised me, or maybe he just never thought I would check. I clicked on his email first, normal. Work messages, ads, nothing suspicious. For a second, I almost felt relief. Maybe this was all a misunderstanding. Maybe Lily just imagined something. But then I opened his messages. At first, everything looked fine. Friends, co-workers, random chats. And then, I saw a number I didn't recognize. No name, no photo, just a blank contact. My heart started beating faster. I don't know why, but I already felt it. I clicked on it. The messages loaded, and in that exact moment, something inside me broke. Last night was perfect. I miss you already. Can't wait to see you again. My fingers went cold. I kept scrolling. I didn't want to, but I couldn't stop. Photos appeared, selfies, her. A woman with long dark hair, smiling, laughing, comfortable, like she belonged in his life. My stomach dropped. That was her. The same woman Lily described. No doubt, no mistake. I kept reading. Is your wife suspicious? I don't think so. She trusts me. My breathing stopped. She'll never find out. I felt like the room was spinning, like I wasn't standing anymore, like I was falling. I slammed the laptop shut. I couldn't look at it anymore. I didn't want to see anything else, but it was already too late. The truth was clear, sharp, unavoidable. Daniel wasn't working late. He was lying every single time. He wasn't at the office. He was with her, and worst of all, he brought her into our home, into our space, into our life. I covered my mouth to stop the sound that was trying to come out. A cry, a scream, something between both. Lily. My little girl. She saw this. She lived around it. And she thought it was normal. That thought shattered something inside me. I sat down on the edge of the bed, my hands shaking. What do I do now? Do I confront him? Do I wait? Do I pretend everything is fine? Or do I protect my daughter from something she doesn't even understand? My mind was racing. But then another thought hit me. Stronger, darker. Lily said the woman comes here, not once, not by accident, regularly. I slowly looked around the room, at the bed, at the pillows, at the space we shared, and suddenly, it didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt joy, like someone else had been living inside my life. A wave of anger rushed through me, hot, sharp, almost uncontrollable. But underneath that anger, there was fear. Because if Daniel could lie like this, if he could involve our daughter in his secret, then what else was he hiding? What else didn't I know? I thought I had found the truth. I thought I understood everything. But I was wrong. Because later that same day, Lily said something else. Something even more disturbing. And when I heard it, I realized this wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was something much worse. I tried to act normal for the rest of the morning. I made Lily breakfast, packed her lunch, brushed her hair. Everything looked the same, but inside, I was falling apart. Every small thing felt different now. The kitchen, the walls, even the silence. It all felt like it was hiding something from me. Lily sat at the table, eating her cereal, swinging her legs like she always did. So innocent, so unaware, and yet, she knew more than I did. That thought made my chest tighten again. I sat across from her, watching her carefully. "Did you sleep well?" I asked softly. She nodded. "Yes. Daddy came into my room last night." My heart skipped. "He did?" I tried to sound calm. "Yeah," she said, smiling. He said goodnight, and he was talking on the phone again. My fingers tightened around my cup. Talking to her, of course. "Did you hear what he said?" I asked. Lily shrugged. "Not really, but he was happy." Happy. That word felt like a knife. He wasn't happy with me anymore. I could feel it now. I just didn't want to see it before. "Lily," I said gently. "The lady you told me about, what does she do when she comes here?" Lily paused. Then she looked at me with a strange expression, like she wasn't sure if she should answer. That alone scared me. "She plays with me sometimes," Lily said quietly. My heart dropped. "What do you mean, plays with you?" "She brings me candy, and we watch cartoons." I felt sick. That woman wasn't just coming into my house, she was getting close to my daughter. "Does Daddy stay with you?" I asked. Lily shook her head. "No, sometimes they go into your room." I couldn't breathe. Your room. Our room. Everything started spinning again. "But one time," Lily added. My heart stopped. "One time what?" Lily leaned closer, lowering her voice like it was a game. "One time they were arguing." I froze. "Arguing? About what?" I whispered. Lily shrugged. "I don't know, but she sounded mad." A cold wave ran through my body. Mad? Why would she be mad? What were they arguing about? And then Lily said something that made my blood run cold. She said she was tired of waiting. I felt like I had just been hit. Waiting? Waiting for what? My mind started racing. This wasn't just some random affair. This was something deeper, something planned. "How long has she been coming here?" I asked, my voice barely steady. Lily thought for a moment. "A long time?" My heart sank. "How long is a long time?" "Since my birthday." I felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. Her birthday was 6 months ago. 6 months. 6 months of lies. 6 months of secrets. 6 months of another woman in my home. And I had no idea. I stood up too quickly, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. Lily looked at me, confused. "Mom?" "I'm okay," I said quickly. But I wasn't. Not even close. Everything inside me was breaking. 6 months. That meant this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't something new. This was a whole second life, and I was completely blind to it. I walked to the sink, pretending to clean something just so she wouldn't see my face. I needed to think. I needed to understand. But nothing made sense anymore. Why would he bring her here? Why involve Lily? Why risk everything? Unless he didn't care anymore. The thought hit me like a punch. What if I wasn't part of his future anymore? What if he was already planning something else? Something bigger? Something worse? I turned back to Lily, forcing a small smile. "Thank you for telling me, sweetheart." She smiled back. Like everything was normal. Like none of this was wrong. And that scared me more than anything. Because children don't question what they see. They accept it. They believe it's okay. And I had let this happen. I had missed every sign, every late night, every excuse, every lie. I thought the worst thing was that he was cheating. But now I wasn't so sure. Because if that woman had been in our lives for 6 months, And if she was already arguing with him, then something was changing. Something was building. And I had a terrible feeling that I was about to find out what it was, but I had no idea how bad it would really be. That entire day felt unreal, like I was walking through someone else's life. I dropped Lily off at school, smiled at the teacher, waved goodbye, and the moment she disappeared inside, my smile vanished. It felt like a mask fell off my face. I sat in the car for a long time, just staring ahead, not moving, not thinking clearly, trying to breathe, trying to understand what my life had turned into. 6 months. The number echoed in my head again and again. 6 months of lies, 6 months of secrets happening right behind my back. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was something planned, something hidden carefully, and somehow I was the only one who didn't know. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. My hands were shaking. I needed answers, not guesses, not assumptions, the truth. Before I could talk myself out of it, I started the engine. I wasn't going home, not yet. I was going to Daniel's office, or at least the place he told me he worked at. The drive felt longer than usual. Every red light felt like torture. Every second made my heart beat faster. What if I was wrong? What if this really was just a misunderstanding? What if I was about to ruin everything for no reason? But deep down, I already knew. When I arrived, I parked across the street. I didn't get out right away. I just sat there, watching the building. It looked normal, completely ordinary, just like everything else in my life had looked. And that scared me even more, because now I knew how easy it was to hide the truth behind something that looked normal. I checked the time. He should be inside, working. That's what he told me every single day. I waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. Nothing. No sign of him, no message, no call, just silence. Then the front door opened. A woman walked out. I recognized her instantly. I'd seen her before, at a company event. She worked here. My heart started racing. This was my chance. I got out of the car and walked toward her, trying to look calm, trying to act like everything was fine. "Hi," I said, forcing a small smile. "Sorry to bother you. Is Daniel inside?" She looked at me, confused. "Daniel?" My stomach dropped. "Yes," I said quickly. "He works here." There was a pause, a long, uncomfortable pause. She looked at me in a way I couldn't understand, like she was trying to figure something out. And then she said it. "He doesn't work here anymore." The words hit me like a euter. I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked quietly. "He left," she said slowly. "About 5 months ago." 5 months. My heart stopped. 5 months. But Lily said 6, which meant he lied from the very beginning. Not just recently, not just once, every single day, every morning, every goodbye, every "I'll be late," all of it. A lie. "Are you sure?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. She nodded. "I'm sorry. I thought you knew." I couldn't respond. I couldn't even think. I just nodded and walked away, step by step, like my body was moving without me. I got back into my car. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock the door. I sat there, staring at the steering wheel. 5 months. If he didn't work here, then where was he going every day? Where was he spending his time? Who was he really with? The answer was obvious. Her. But something didn't add up. Something still felt wrong. I closed my eyes, trying to think, trying to connect everything. And then another thought hit me. Suddenly. Sharp. Terrifying. If he wasn't working, then how are we still living like this? The rent, the bills, the groceries, everything. None of it made sense. Daniel handled most of the finances. I trusted him. I never questioned it. But now I realized how little I actually knew. A cold wave of fear spread through my body, because this wasn't just about cheating anymore. This was something bigger, something deeper, something hidden under all the lies. And I had a horrible feeling that whatever I was about to find next would be much worse than the truth I had already discovered, but I didn't know how bad it really was until my phone suddenly rang, and the name on the screen made my blood run cold. My phone kept ringing. I stared at the screen, unable to move. Danielle. For a second, I thought about ignoring it, pretending I didn't see it, pretending I didn't know anything. But my hand moved before I could stop it. I answered. Hello? My voice sounded too calm, too empty. Hey, Daniel said. Where are you? I felt something twist inside my chest. Why did he sound so normal? I just finished some errands, I replied. Why? There was a short pause. I stopped by home, he said. You weren't there. My grip on the phone tightened. He was home. Right now. A cold wave ran through me. Yeah. I went out, I said slowly. Another pause. Longer this time. Like he was thinking. Like he was checking something in his head. Okay, he said finally. When are you coming back? Soon? I almost said it. But something stopped me. Not sure, I replied. Why? Silence. Then his voice changed slightly. Subtle, but I felt it. I just thought we could have dinner together, he said. Dinner. Like everything was normal, like he wasn't lying to me for months, like there wasn't another woman in my life. I closed my eyes. I'll let you know, I said. Then I hung up. I couldn't listen to him anymore. I sat there in the car, breathing heavily. He was home. Right now. Which meant either he wasn't expecting me, or he didn't care if I came back. Both options terrified me. I looked at the house key in my hand. For a moment, I hesitated. Do I go back? Do I confront him, or do I wait? But then I remembered Lily. I remembered her voice. She plays with me. That was enough. I started the engine. The drive back felt different. Faster, heavier, like I was driving towards something I couldn't escape. When I pulled into the driveway, my heart was pounding so hard it hurt. His car was there. Of course it was. I stepped out slowly. Every step felt wrong, like I wasn't supposed to be here, like I was about to walk into something I couldn't undo. I opened the front door quietly. The house was silent. Too silent. Daniel? I called. No answer. I stepped inside. My eyes moved quickly. Living room, empty. Kitchen, empty. But then, I heard something. A soft sound coming from the hallway. My heart stopped. I walked toward it slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. The closer I got, the louder it became. A voice, a woman's voice. I froze. No, this wasn't possible. Not now. Not while I was here. I took another step, then another, and then I heard him. Daniel. Laughing. My chest tightened so hard I thought I would collapse. I moved closer to the bedroom door. It was slightly open. Just enough to see inside. And what I saw destroyed everything. Daniel was standing there, and she was with him. The same woman from the photos. Real. In my house. In my room. They were too close. Too comfortable. Like they had done this 100 times. My hands started shaking. I pushed the door open. They both turned. The silence that followed felt endless. Daniel's face changed instantly. Shock, fear, something else. Something I had never seen before. Wait, he started. But I couldn't hear him. All I could see was her, standing in my space, looking at me like I didn't belong there. And then she said something. Something that made everything even worse. Oh, she said quietly. So she doesn't know. My heart stopped. Doesn't know. What? I looked at Daniel. "No, what?" I whispered, but he didn't answer. He just stood there, frozen, silent. And that silence told me everything. Or at least, I thought it did, because what I was about to hear next was something I never could have imagined. "Know what?" I repeated. This time my voice broke. I couldn't control it anymore. Everything inside me was shaking. Daniel ran his hand through his hair. "Please, just let me explain," he said. "Explain? Explain what?" I let out a quiet, hollow laugh. "Explain what, Daniel?" I said. "That you've been lying to me for months? That you brought her into our home? That our daughter knows about all of this?" He flinched again, but the woman didn't. She just stood there, watching me, calm. Too calm, like I was the outsider, like I didn't belong in my own life. "You should tell her," she said, looking at him. My heart started pounding even harder. "Tell me what?" Daniel shook his head. "No, not like this." "Not like this? Then how?" I snapped. "When were you planning to tell me? After what? After you replaced me completely?" Silence. Heavy. Unbearable. And then, she spoke. "I'm pregnant." Everything stopped. The air, the sound, my thoughts. I blinked slowly, trying to process what I just heard. "No, that wasn't real. That's not true," I said immediately. My voice sounded weak, even to me. She didn't react, didn't argue, didn't raise her voice. She just looked at me. "I wish it wasn't," she said quietly. My legs almost gave out. I grabbed the door frame to stay standing. Pregnant. The word echoed inside my head, over and over again. I turned to Daniel. He couldn't even look at me, and that was enough. That silence told me everything. Tears filled my eyes, but I forced them back. Not here. Not in front of them. "How long?" I asked. My voice felt distant, like it belonged to someone else. Daniel hesitated, then finally said, 4 months. 4 months. While I was living my life, while I was trusting him, while I was building our future, he was building another one. Behind my back, right inside my home. I let out a slow, shaking breath, and suddenly, everything made sense. The late nights, the distance, the lies, every single moment I ignored, every sign I didn't want to see, but instead of collapsing, something inside me changed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, cold, final. I remembered Lily's drawing. 4 people, not 3. She wasn't confused. She saw the truth before I did, and I failed to protect her from it. That realization hurt more than anything. I wiped my face slowly. Then I looked at Daniel again. Really looked at him. And for the first time, I felt nothing. No love, no trust, just emptiness. "You made your choice," I said. My voice was calm now. Too calm. He stepped toward me. "Please, don't do this." I raised my hand. "Don't." He stopped. "I'm done," I said quietly. The words felt heavy, but they were real. More real than anything I'd said in months. I turned around. Step by step, I walked out of the room, out of the hallway, out of the house. Every step hurt, but at the same time, it felt like I was finally breathing again. Like I was waking up from something I refused to see. I didn't know what would happen next. I didn't know how I would explain this to Lily. I didn't know how I would rebuild my life. But I knew one thing: I wasn't going to stay. Not in a life full of lies. Not in a home that no longer felt like mine. Sometimes the truth destroys everything, but sometimes it also sets you free. And as I stood outside, holding my keys with shaking hands, I realized something I hadn't understood before. This wasn't the end of my story, it was just the beginning of a new one.